Hello everybody, welcome back to Bilingual Tutorials. My name is Carolina and today we're going to talk about the USMLE, the United States Medical Licensing Examination. This is our table of contents. What is the USMLE, USMLE exams, eligibility, what sites needed, documents to read, latest relevant news, recommendations, and it's important to note that this is a guide for international students and or medical graduates. So let's start answering the first question. What is the USMLE? So the USMLE is owned by two organizations, the FSMB and the MBME. The FSMB is a nonprofit organization and it represents the 70 state medical and osteopathic boards of the United States and its territories. It has different functions such as licensing physicians, investigating patient complaints, disciplining physicians who violate the law. The MBME or National Board of Medical Examiners is also a nonprofit organization and its function is to assess health professionals. Now, let's talk about the USMLE exams. We have three exams, the Step 1, the Step 2, and the Step 3. Previously, the Step 2 was divided into two exams, the Step 2 CK and Step 2 CS, but the Step 2 CS was discontinued, so we only have now the Step 2 CK. Now, let's talk about the details of each exam. So we have the Step 1. The Step 1 is a one-day examination that lasts for 8 hours. It's divided into 7 60-minute blocks, and also you have 45 minutes of break time that you can divide as you want, as you wish, and a 15-minute optional tutorial. It's important to note that this tutorial you can skip it, so in total you can have up to an hour of break time, and also if you finish a block early, that amount of time is added to your break time. Now, you have multiple choice questions for this exam. The number of items per block will not exceed 40, and the total number of items will not exceed 280. The purpose of this exam is to measure basic science knowledge, and the majority of questions require the examinee to interpret graphic and tabular material to identify gross and microscopic pathologic and normal specimens, and to solve problems through the application of basic science principles. Now, let's talk about the Step 2 CK clinical knowledge. This is a one-day examination, but this one lasts 9 hours. It has 8 blocks, each of 60 minutes, 45 minutes of break time again, and a 15-minute optional tutorial. Multiple choice questions. The number of questions per block will not exceed 40, and the total number of items will not exceed 318. The purpose of this exam is to apply medical knowledge, skills, and understanding of clinical science essential for the provision of patient care under supervision, and includes emphasis on health promotion and disease prevention. I think that's just great, right? So the test questions focus on the principles of clinical science that are deemed important for the practice of medicine under supervision in postgraduate training. So this exam allows you to have the certification that you need with the Step 1 to be able to apply to residency in the United States and work under supervision. The Step 3 is a 2-day examination. It has multiple choice items and also computer-based case simulations. It is divided into 2 days, as I said right now, first day and a second day. During the first day, you have 232 multiple choice items, and you have 6 blocks of 38 to 39 items, 60 minutes for each block, and in total, it's 7 hours, including 45 minutes of break time and a 5-minute optional tutorial. During the second day, you're going to have 180 multiple choice items, 6 blocks of 30 items, but you're going to have 45 minutes for each block, 9 hours in total, a minimum of 45 minutes for break time, and includes a 7-minute CCS tutorial. The CCS tutorial is the computer-based case simulations tutorial. Now, it's followed by the 13 case simulations of each a maximum of 10 or 20 minutes of real time. The purpose of this exam is assessing the knowledge and skills of physicians who are assuming independent responsibility for providing general medical care to patients. So this allows you to work independently. And the USMLE recommends that the step 3 to be taken during your first year of residency. You don't need that exam to apply to our residency program. So the eligibility requirements. We have eligibility requirements for the step 1 and step 2 CK, and also for the step 3. For the step 1 and step 2 CK, you have to be a medical student officially enrolled in or a graduate of a medical school that is outside the US and Canada, listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools as meeting ACFNG eligibility requirements, and that meets other eligibility criteria of the ECFNG. Now we have other eligibility criteria. Now the step 2 CS has been discontinued. The step 3, the first requirement is to pass the step 1 and step 2 CK, and also to obtain the equivalent of the MD degree from a medical school outside the US and Canada. That is listed in the World Directory of Medical Schools as meeting the ECFNG eligibility requirements, and obtain ECFNG certification. Now we obtain that certification a little bit differently, but we're going to talk about that in another video. So the websites that you need are definitely usmle.org. That's the first one. The second one is ecfng.org. And the third one is the World Directory of Medical Schools. But this is only to check that you have all the eligibility requirements. We are going to check those websites. So the documents to read, you need to read the Bulletin of Information of the year that you are going to take the exam. Also, you have to read the ECFNG information booklet of the year that you are going to take the exam. And the most important thing, you have to read the announcements. All the announcements, all the news, you have to read them all the time. So now let's go check out those websites. All right, guys, so here we are. This is the usmle.org website, and here you see the announcements, the most important part, as I was telling you. Here you see that the USMLE Step 2 CS has been discontinued, and here you're going to find a lot of valuable information. You are going to look for the bulletin. You can also check out quick facts, application fees, step examination. You see that here we still have the step 2 CS, but actually it's not necessary anymore. Practice materials. So you have a lot of information. Here in the ECFNG website, you have to check the news all the time, the requirements. Now we have different pathways to apply to the ECFNG certification. So we're going to talk about that in another video, because I want the ECFNG to launch all the information, the complete information, to give you guys a proper video about it. And here you can check about the ECFNG, the online services that they have, the programs, ECFNG certification. You check out that part of the website, and there you can find all the information that you need. And right here we have the World Directory of Medical Schools, and you go to search and you type in the country. You look up for the country. Let's look for Dominican Republic, and you can search all the schools that are there, and then you pick your school. After you do that, you check here in sponsor notes that is current. So the university is current, and all the other eligibility requirements are met. Refer to ECFNG information booklet for detailed information. So this is the information that you have to look for to see that your university has all the eligibility requirements and that you can properly apply. It's important that you talk with your school to know how they do it with the ECFNG, to make sure that you can do it properly. And these are the websites. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation. All right. So here we have the latest relevant news. We have that the Step 2 CS has been discontinued, as I have mentioned multiple times now. We have that the Step 1 is going to be pass or fail. So right now, you have a 3-digit score, but since January 2022, the score reporting is going to be pass fail. And finally, they have a change in the USMLE attempt limit policy. Before it was 6 attempts for each step component, but now it's going to be 4. And this will be implemented not earlier than July 1st, 2021. So basically this year. And my recommendations, the first thing that I recommend you guys to do is to study English, because that is the language in which you are going to communicate, in which you are going to study if you want to study in the United States, and you need to manage to have fluency in that language in order to achieve that goal. So even before thinking about um, applying to a residency, it's important that you have a good level of English, and I think that you can definitely achieve that. Then the other advice is to start studying as early as possible from USMLE oriented materials. It's never too early, guys. I I cannot stress this enough. If you study during your medical school training, it's going to be much easier for you as an international medical graduate, because the American medical graduates, they study from USMLE questions, USMLE materials since they start. So that's why it's not as hard for them as it is for international medical graduates. Lean on your family and friends. You are going to need them in every step of the way, pun intended. Talk with people that have approved the exams. They can guide you, they can give you techniques that they use. They can be your light in all of this process. Trust in your spiritual guide if you have one. If you have a religious belief, it is important that you lean on that as well. um, Trust yourself. This is a very hard process, and you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your abilities and just do your best. This is not about being smart, it's about being resilient and about giving your all. And I think you can do it. Remember that this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. Don't think that you have to be the best since day one. Just take things one step at a time. Trust the process. And never give up, guys. This is your path. If you believe that this is your path, you are gonna make it. So I wish you the best. Bye. Take care, everybody.